be the MMS team and central office maintenance sharing information. So we just want to make sure that that's all set, but that's what the intent according to that policy 2500 on recording is being utilized. So keep that chat up there. Again, that's a great way for you guys to ask questions. So please, the worst thing we need you to do is if something comes up and you just don't understand, with a big group like this, I realize hesitant to probably speak out. Perfectly fine. Put it in that chat. Tommy and Randall, if I'm speaking, they can be answering that in the background. We can just keep things moving, right? So utilize that. We'll be watching that as we go along through today. We'll do the Crossing Midnight. We'll be putting video links out there in the page. We're going to be talking about a little bit on supplemental help. That's a big deal. All of our supplemental help, everyone documents in MMS. So we'll be running an example there. We're going to be talking about looking at training. So there's a lot of stuff going on in that world of training. Are our employees fully trained, ready for winter? What's that look like? We're going to show you some stuff that movers can kind of let you know for the piece here in the middle. We'll be talking about continuous, non-continuous routes, winter mix material. So all I can say is we got a lot. Hang on, but we're going to first start with Paul and Terry. Hey, thank you guys for joining us. They're going to highlight the snow drill coming up. I'm muted right now, Paul.
Yep, sorry. All right. Thank you, Michael. I'll introduce Terry here in just a minute. Terry joined our division back in May. He came to us from the Central District, where he was the supervisor at the Eldon Building for 20 years. So we're really fortunate to have Terry and his expertise of and experience for being a building supervisor. And so that's really where this checklist for snow drill day, I gave Terry a task when he first came on of trying to go back and revamp our Snow Academy. The last time that the Snow Academy document is out there, if anybody has seen it, was 2011. So it is a little older document that we're trying to revisit. The other reason why we're putting this checklist together and have it out there for everybody to have kind of a square one starting point, and we're all doing kind of a basic fundamental items on drill day across the state. There may be additional items that you want to do at your building. That's perfectly fine. But we wanted to get a checklist together to help everybody, not to hinder you, but to help you say, okay, here's items to go over and have it there in front of you and help organize your day of things that to keep in mind as the winter weather certainly approaches. So the other reason why we wanted to put this together is we have had pretty mild winters the last 2 to 3 years. The last 2 years have been below normal as far as precipitation and the costs that we've built up during the winter months. And to use a sports analogy, if you're not prepared, even a 30-point underdog can come in and upset a team that's not prepared. And so if we're kind of going through the motions the last 2 years, haven't really had those significant winter events that we've had 3, 4, 5 years ago, how complacent have we gotten? Our snow drill, our drivers, Michael probably has shared this with you, but of the drivers that we have available, 45% of them have less than 3 years experience. And so how well are we prepared if we do have a typical winter or even above normal winter to be able to respond, and we know that our equipment is up and ready to go, and that we know everybody knows their responsibilities prior to game day, if you let me go with that analogy. So I want to give Terry, if you want to share, do you have your document that you can share?
Hold it here just a second. I got it here.
So Terry's pulling that up. what we wanted to do, and Michael, thank you for the invite today, is just kind of introduce this to everybody, let you know that it is coming. It will be a link inside MMS, and so you're able to access it through MMS, pull it up for that day, um, and use that. But we'll give you guys a kind of a high overview, not really get down into the weeds. We don't want to monopolize your meeting today, but we wanted to at least introduce you to this, give you an idea what's on there, what it's all about. And then next week, you may have seen we did send out three separate invitations on, I think, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 8 to 9 next week that will take that time and we'll dive into the weeds on this. So you have an opportunity to look at this, kind of review it before next week. If you've got any additional questions there, come to those meetings with those questions. We'll try to answer them as best as we can and give you a better response for what we're doing. So it's going to be available inside MMS. And then we will follow the day up with a survey that the MMS team is putting out. And on that survey is going to be our way of seeing how much this checklist got used. Yep, thank you, Michael. So we'll ask you to complete this survey, and we'll be able to see out of the number of buildings that we have across the state who was able to utilize the checklist and who completed it. On the checklist, Terry will show you that there is a place for crew signatures on the last page. We are working with safety and emergency management on trying to see if we could give some OJT or some type of 2 hours of training for the morning portion that we have etched out there. We don't have all those items in place for this season, for this year round. But as we move forward with this and we have the snow drill come next year, our goal is to see if we can have this, instead of just doing a survey and checking who completed it and who got credit for it through the survey. We will work towards a goal of having this, whoever completed this and who was present for it would receive either OJT or would receive 2 hours or some amount of hours of training for completing the list on the snow drill day. So with that, I'll hand this over to Terry, but it's broke up. You'll see it's broke up into 5 or 6 different sections, and each section is kind of got its own checklist underneath them. So we've categorized them by different areas. And then at the bottom, there's places for comments, and then there's places for crew signatures. So Terry, with that, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay, good morning, everybody. As Paul said, my name is Terry Blankenship. I was the maintenance supervisor in Eldon in Central District before I moved up here to Central Office in June. And as Paul kind of introduced our little checklist that we got here, I wanted to just kind of give an intro to where this has kind of come from. As supervisor over the last, couple years or several years, snow day and safety day have always been pretty big ones for me. I thought very fortunate to have an organization that takes time out of a day to get those two emphases in, basically safety, obviously, and then snow is our big one. In our activity the last few years, we've been so busy last year we were mowing back and we were behind laying asphalt, and I'll just admit, snow day barely even happened at my building last year. And it wasn't intentional. It was just, and it was really unfortunate because we could have been, we could have really failed whenever we got started. Luckily, we didn't have a winter, but it's really been a goal of mine to bring back snow day to our facilities on an individual level, on a supervisor level, to where we can take this day to its original intent, which was to get ready for snow. And I know most of them days, and probably in a couple weeks, it's still going to be, weather's going to be good. Hopefully, we're going to have, sunny weather, and our people are going to be grumbling, why can't we be doing something worthwhile? Why can't we be doing this? Well, why we got to do this? But as our supervisors and leadership, I just feel it's incredibly important that we bring our folks back to an emphasis of this snow day. So a few simple goals that I had written down here that I'd like to get out right before we get started. One of them is this list is to me is just a simple guide for our supervisors and our leaders to go off of, just a tool, something that they can look at and create a day of of learning, and bring that emphasis back to snow day. Uh, but this document hasn't just been mine or Paul's. I've had some great feedback already of what we could add to it, what we can do different. But it is our goal here at Central Office to build off of this, maybe this document, and to where each facility can make it their own, but then where we could make something that's statewide, that we could make it better next year and continue to build on this to where we do get more buy-in and we do get these things going. So anyways, I'd like to just run down through it real quick, and then if anybody has any questions, I'd love to throw it out. I certainly am not going to insult anybody's time in. I'll have 21 in February, years that is. But still, as Paul said, we got 3 years and under operators. But think about your building and think about your seasoned, your people that are professional snow operators. It's been 5 years since we really had snow, maybe been longer than that since we've had a prolonged time of, I dare to say back in the day, but where we've had a 2-week event where we've been out. I really think we have to get our mindset back to where we think or we'll be on the news. And you all know as well as I do, when MoDOT's not on the news, it's not normally for praise. So anyways, if you all want to look at this sheet, if everybody's got it up here, my morning meeting, my roundtable discussion here, when you were talking about troubleshooting different things, we discuss different things. This is on a building level. This is in each facility, so that we can use our morning muster meetings to talk about what works, what doesn't work. We talk about our strike teams. We talk about emergency operators. We talk about what our staff looks like whenever we got our strike teams in other areas. You could go 10 different places with these things. So we go to snow response operations and terminology. Like I said, it looks pretty simple. But when you're talking about reporting your roads, what does clear and partly covered mean? And define those things. What's mix and beet juice? What's our calcium? What's our brine supposed to be percentage wise look? What does that look like? Our communication, our radios and our cell phones. I know our cell phones are down, but they're still a tool that we can use when we're parked. EOC and Geotab. All of these things are just what you would look at them and maybe pass by them, but think about our emergency and our supplemental help that are around. I would encourage anybody to ask questions to where you could, just get a conversation. What does treat, and plow, and blast, auto, manual, what do all these things mean? Treatment applications, our tons per mile, gallons per mile, when, where are we shooting material, our operating schedules, how does your facility rotate, who watches, who's on call, where's the numbers at that you call for road conditions with these on call responsibilities. I mentioned our supplemental and emergency staff. Do not take for granted that these people that are in your building for this day don't know who Joe is. Get your lists ready and get your contact numbers to where everybody knows where we're at. Expense reports, specific truck mileage sheets, but however each facility uses them. Again, and I'll keep saying this, but I really wanted to make a facility specific document to where you all could build on these points and make them your own. Review MMS terminology. We're going to do it today, but we need to do it again and again. 913, 914, winter materials, practicing our documentation. All of these things are important. Continuous and non-continuous routes. Discuss where the hill is that's slick, where the place is that freezes the fastest. So all of these things, as we are in our morning meeting, I really think everybody, if we took a hard look at these points that we're going over, a 10-hour day might not even get it if we really break these things down and seriously take a look at all these issues. So we got our morning meeting over, and we've got everything covered. So we head out to the lot. Our walk around inspections of our loaders and everything, our lights, belts, fluids, all of this stuff seems elementary. Spreaders, chains, gearboxes, hoses, your leg stands, are they froze up? Will they move? Are they rusted up? Your blades, your belts, your hoses. Do we know how to put a set of chains on? I was at Odessa's maintenance building last week. They have a great chain simulator set up that's super easy that I've seen. But do we know how to put on a set of chains? Do we know where the chains are? Are they assigned to a truck? Do we know how to calibrate our spreaders? Are they operating correctly? Are we shooting 200 pounds, 400 pounds? Our salt building, is the lights on? Are they working? The door, does it go up? How long's it been since you opened the door to your salt building? Will it come down without beating on it? I'm just talking from things out of Miller County. Are your tanks clearly labeled? Can a stranger come up and get brine or get geomelt out of your tanks? Do they know what they look like? Our shark boxes, do we got cords that are black? Do we know what are they ready to go for cold weather? Tons of stuff here that you could go over. And the first 6 inches of snow will happen, and we'll have enough problems with that without having a hose that needs replaced, and we knew that it needed replaced. Whenever our blades are worn out, and after the first few hours of the first snow, somebody's changing blades, that's problems that we do not have to have. Avoidable issues if we are checking our stuff out. Inventory, where's our tire chains at? Where's our plow blades, our windshield wipers, windshield wiper fluid, fuel additive, etc. I mean, our stuff in stock. Do we got? I always had our our crews get a nighttime bag. Make sure you got cleats and gloves, a dry pair of socks, rain gear in your duffel bag that you throw in your truck. And you don't think walking 100 yards is too bad, but whenever it's 15 below zero, it's a long ways. Batteries, chainsaw, do you got water? Are your generators, how long has it been since you started your generator? Last year? No, we didn't use it last year. Have we started it? Our tonnage and our gallons on hand of our salt, our sand, our geo melt, our brine. When's the last time we started our brine tanks and our geo melt tanks? We get busy, everybody, and it's really easily done. Our fuel readings, note our fuel stations. Do you go? Where do you go to get fuel? Do these places have additives in their fuel when you go to get them? Just questions that you can ask going down the line. Moving on, it's pretty quick, but driving assigned routes to become familiar and identify any change. Now I know we even get people calling in wondering why these MoDOT people are. It's sunny and 81 degrees, and MoDOT's out driving around with their lights on and their plows on, right? Yeah, we are. To say yes, we are, and because it's different. Go ahead. So you say NUI, but it's important that we, especially our supplemental help, especially our emergency help, that they get the feel of a plow on their truck out on the road. We so very important that we identify where you turn these trucks around at. It's just important that we know these things. We have to know where we turn around, but we also need to know where our other facilities meet up with us, and where those routes intersect. Route status. We've got technology now, pretty awesome. I mean, for example, our Show Me Plow. If our people don't know where that is, we need to make sure we know Show Me Plow, where it monitors where our trucks have been, to where we can show that we've been in there 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. Very good tool to have that covers our routes. Again, if anybody's got any questions, just interrupt me and throw something out there. But
Hey,
our
Terry.
other, yes, sir.
Yeah, I think just we can give them an overview of these last couple items, and then so we give Michael plenty of time to cover his agendas. I think you've done a really good job of going over it, and just kind of, I think, real quick, hit what 5, 6, and 7. I think those are just any other issues
Right.
that they may have.
Right. Well, moving through there, you all can see what these are. I mean, just the ideas that we have is no responsibilities in these things, and mechanics when you call them, tow trucks where you go get them. So and then the training, discuss what required response trainings and what staff need them. And so anyways, to put at the end, where you kind of have feedback from your crew at the end of the day or the next morning. I even put a wish list on there for things you would like to have, and then a crew signature. So in a nutshell, that's it. Like I said, pretty simple, but it's all going to be on how you take it. So that's all I got.
Yep. Thank you very much, Terry. Michael, we'll hand it back to you if there's any questions, but just to let everybody know, we have sent those meeting invites out for next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we'll dive deep into the weeds on those days. But Michael, if you got time, I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody may have.
All right. Sounds like no questions. So I'll go ahead and take over here, Paul.
Okay.
That survey that we put up on the screen a little bit earlier, I think that'll be sent out to all supervisors probably on snow day. So be expecting that. Fill that out if you don't mind. So now let's go into a little bit of crossing midnight here. That's everybody's favorite subject and topic. So I am logged in as a maintenance crew worker, and we'll go through what we can kind of expect on probably the beginning of a typical snow day. So we'll go into documenting work, and let's go back and pick a date. So we come in that morning. Most of the time, a lot of the time, you're going to work some 914
Randall,
for the
go ahead and share your
Are you
screen.
showing something?
Well, I'm trying. Hang on. What about now? You seeing it now?
Yes.
All right. So we come in, work a few hours, go home, come back that night. This is kind of what typically happens. So let's go through that scenario here. So if we work from, let's say, 6 a.m. till 11 a.m., and we will calculate those hours. Did you take a lunch break? No, typically we don't do that. And here's a question that we need to pay close attention to so we can come back in and document later. Do you want leave or flex for today? No. Yes, we intend to come back later. So now we've got our 5 hours, and what that's going to do, that's going to let us go on past this page without having our 10 hours or whatever it is. So let's say 9:14. It puts it in here for us because we only have one activity. Okay, we'll go ahead. We'll say we didn't use any equipment for the 9:14 that morning. And let's say we worked at the building. So we can either, you got two different options. You can type in that building number. If you don't know it, click over to the building layer, select the building on the map, and it's going to populate that building number for you. So we'll go ahead. We didn't use any materials. We just worked around the shed. And this is what our summary page looks like at 11 a.m. when we go home. It's pretty important that you go ahead and document that when you go home at 11 a.m. Don't think, I'll go ahead and document it later, whatever. Take the 5 minutes to go ahead and document that. That way it's ready for you when you come back in that night. So we went home, went to bed, come back to work, and we're going to go ahead and document our crosses midnight now. So we're going to go back into documenting work, go to the 16th. Here's everything that we had before. So the first thing that we do is we add our 913, right? We want to get that clean crosses midnight activity there. Okay. So we've got our 913, click the crosses midnight, and now we're working 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Okay. Clean crosses, or clean our 913, crosses midnight, and then our time. And now if we calculate our hours, it's going to ask us, did you take a lunch on that 6 to 11? Make sure you read these titles up here. No, we did not. Were you required to work from 6 to 12? Yes, we were required to work. Remember, that's where your RDIF comes from. Okay, because we went through those steps, it's put it in the correct row, filled out everything for you. It's highlighted yellow or gold or whatever that is, so now you know it's crosses midnight. And now we go ahead with our documentation. So from 6 p.m. to midnight, so we're going to say we drove a truck. And I want to do this real quickly because I want to make sure and remind you how to change your mileage if something's not correct. So we're in UAT, so you can see we haven't documented anything in here in a long time. So this is showing that we drove 5,000 miles. If you come across a piece of equipment, whether it's a truck that's got GPS or whether it's a loader that hasn't been documented in a long time, to correct that, all you do is change your estimate of what you used that day. So we drove 150 miles and 11 hours. Confirm that usage and then save. And what that's going to do, that's going to charge 150 miles and 11 hours to 913, and it's going to catch that piece of equipment back up. So the next person that documents, it's good to go. So we'll click next, and we'll select our locations here. So let's say he drove 60 east, and we will also say that he drove H highway. So we'll get a continuous and a non-continuous. Populates over here. Notice the purple banner. This is for your continuous routes. So we're going to put our material on whether it's continuous or non-continuous. We'll keep that separate. It's your best guess as close as you can. So let's say that he used 7 buckets total that night. He used 5 on the continuous routes. It divides it up because it crosses midnight, right? So if you enter a 5 and you notice that it's 2.6, it's doing that intentionally. The rest of it's going to be on the morning portion. Now we're at this green banner. Remember, this is non-continuous, so we're going to put those other 2 buckets here on the non-continuous. Save that. Next, the 914, we're just confirming what we did that morning. We didn't use any equipment, and we were at the shed, so we just next through that. We didn't use any materials. Okay. So this is for the 16th, 914. This is the 913 that we have. We're not done, right? We need to go in and confirm the next morning. So we click done, and we're going to go to the 17th because we just did acrosses midnight from 16th to 17th. So let's go confirm that before you go home and go to bed. It works so much better if you go confirm this. Okay. So it's already populated everything here. What you need to do, delete out the times because you're not documenting from 6 to 4:30. All you're doing is confirming what you did the night before. So delete these times out and hit your calculating hours. From 12 to 6, were you required to work? Yes. So you're getting your RDIF. Do you want leave? This is where if you're not coming back in again, you can say yes, put your flex or your annual leave, whatever you want. If you're planning on coming back in that night, you say, nope, I'm going to come back in that next night and we're do it all over again. You're going to do it again. Real quickly, notice we didn't answer any questions about lunch for the crosses midnight. And notice we have 5.5 hours here on 6-hour time span. That's because we've changed that to where it takes the lunch out automatically on the morning portion if you work 12 hours. So it's going to take that lunch out for you. Everybody on the crew should have that same amount of time. So when a supervisor looks down through his review and submit, everybody should have the same amount of time. So we got our 5.5 hours. We've answered all of our questions that we're going to come back and document later. And now we just go through and confirm what we did the night before. So notice we've got the green check. That's because we documented our mileage before. We've got our locations already. We got our materials already. All you're doing is confirming it. Now you've got both days. Now you go home and go to bed. It can be a little tricky, especially if you get off and don't go through the right steps. It can get a little messy. So those steps are important. Any questions before I go to the next topic? All right. Something went wrong. You got it documented wrong. The best way to go ahead and fix that or to delete it and start over, really, because that's one of the things we need to talk about. If you don't know whether you're going to get paid 913 or 914 before you cross midnight, don't document it. Make sure you know whether you're supposed to be at 913 or 914 because you have to delete it and start over. You cannot change activities once it's deleted. So if you need to delete and start over, the best way to do that, go to the morning portion, go to the beginning of the crosses midnight, and go right here to delete in this time frame, in the selected time. If you delete that, it deletes everything that's tied to that. So it's still leaving our morning portion there. We're going to document that later. It deleted everything about that crosses midnight for both days. So it basically cleaned the slate. All you have now is the 914 that you did to begin with. So real quickly, If you don't know what you're getting, 913 or 914, and that's coming from a superintendent, a DME, or whoever, just don't document. Make sure to confirm with your supervisor. If you need to delete it and change over, click the delete button on the selected times of the morning portion. That's the fastest and easiest way to get everything deleted and started over. That was a lot of information real fast. You guys have been doing it. We get very few questions anymore. You're getting good at crosses midnight, but that's just a quick reminder. If you have any questions, post them in the chat, send them to me or Tommy privately, whatever you want to do, we'll get with you. If you want us to come out to your building, do a Teams meeting or something like that, once again, get with us. We'll try our best to get to you before winter happens. Any questions? All right, Michael, it's all yours.
Fantastic. All right, so Tommy has added that Crossing Midnight video out there. You're going to be seeing in the chat there. He's going to add some more as we go along on there. So what I want to do is I'm going to take it just a short little bit, and I'm going to talk about our supplemental help. So we have right at 400 supplemental help. Our numbers are pushing in total. We're probably around 2,500. Randall's going to show here at the end a little bit of our Power BIs on winter. So we couldn't do winter without supplemental. We have to have supplemental document time in MMS. So supervisors, I'm asking again, you guys are amazing at this. You've done it. You've helped us this for probably the fourth winter going in. Those supplemental help, they're not in MMS every day. This is not their thing. So please help them through the process. I wish they could be there on snow drill day. Any of you who are on the call or supplemental, make every effort you can. That's the best day. There's not a whole lot of stress going on that day. All the things that we talked about before, but stop, go to the UAT environment and do some practicing. Okay. So I've come in here. Chad Berry's one of our supplemental at the Ozark building. They're going to click on documenting work. Again, maintenance supervisors, crew leaders, please watch this because it's going to look a little different. They get this thing called regular responsibilities that you don't normally have that. What we ask, just like everyone, is give the total amount of time you were here working today. Whether a construction inspector was working in their office doing stuff up till noon, then come to help push snow, this needs to be your day. So for Chad, he started this morning at 7 a.m. He works till 7 p.m. Click calculate hours. It's going to handle that. We're required to work. Yes. We do not know what his normal regular start time is. That's where it's a little weird for RDIF for these guys and ladies. We just don't know, right? RDIF starts at 7. RDIF is up to 7:30 if you don't come into a regular scheduled time before that. So what happens is, I'm going to say in Chad's case, what he really did, he worked up till, let's say, lunch. He worked 4.5 hours, his regular responsibilities doing his construction inspection activities, and then at lunch he came to the building. Okay, so that's why they have this regular responsibility here. If they push snow the entire time, put all 11.5 hours in there. So we'll put the rest of his time towards 9:13. He's got add hours towards 9:13. Put that RDIF there. Get in all reality, that RDIF likely is not something that is needed, but we again just don't know their normal start times. And then there's their market adjustment. Okay, so again, please take time. Tommy's going to be adding a video that goes through this exact same example, just showing how do you document equipment. Take them through that process. Go out to test environment. Talk to them about the routes of what that looks like to pick a route there. And so encourage you at this time. Again, Tommy's going to talk a little bit more about this here in a few minutes about routes. Pay attention to your routes. We want you all to look at those, make sure that those are correct, and he'll give you some guidance here in a second about those a little bit more. Material, again, these supplementals, some of these could be brand new to you. Some of them have worked with us for years. Help them understand your lingo. What's a 2-to-1? What's a 1-to-1? What does a bucket mean? walk them through that process. You know, they want to do the right thing. They want to be successful for you all, but they need your patience. They need your time. Now, supplemental, I apologize. You've asked me since we went live in MMS. Why can't, if we're doing this in MMS, why can't it upload to TRS? We just have not got that squared away yet. It is a part of our rewrite. We're trying to rewrite all of our documenting for MMS in this next year, but I still don't have that ability. We need you to document in MMS for the very fact of making sure it's documented correctly. We've got the awareness of what it is, what was done, all of your usage, your equipment, the material. Take a screenshot, this last page. Now you can document at the building at the end of the shift. You can document when you get back to your building. We encourage supplemental, do it right then, do it at the building. That's the best time. You're not going to forget stuff. When you go back to your office in a day or so and you enter time into your TRS, go open this up again. You could take a screenshot. It's going to tell you how you divided your time. 9:13, so much to regular, so much to add. You can get a screenshot of that information. Job numbers, we can get that kind of information for you. Pretty much it's going to be a county, continuous or non-continuous. But please be in there practicing that. It just makes a big difference. The last 3 winters, I've sent out individual emails to all the supplemental help that I could find. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing again. It's not that we don't want you guys to have chances. It's just the reality. Y'all are busy doing your other thing. Sometimes hard to get your attention to focus on winter yet. All right. Supervisors, all supplemental, all document MMS, please help them. All right. We're never going to get anywhere if we just start in with, why don't you get your stuff done? You know, we know that doesn't go too far. All right, so let's talk a little bit about training. All right, so training is kind of an interesting thing right now. So I'm gonna show you how I would ask, and this is kind of one of those to-do things for all of you today. And I say today because I think sometimes it's easier if we just take care of it and it's done, right? Go out to the live environment. Okay, appreciate you guys coming out here today. We use the link here. You can see that show me guide there. That's that show a plow. Take a look, click on that. You can see what that looks like. We'll populate those things during the middle of a storm. Again, we have that snow drill checklist. We'll have that up here. I don't know if we'll have it up the entire time between now and the 10th, but we'll have it up quite frequently on here. But what I wanted to show you is I want our supervisors, crew leaders, one of you, everyone in the building, I want you to go and assign today 9:13 to everyone in your crew. Okay, so I'm coming in here, Brian. I'm doing this in the live environment. The guys actually did it this morning for me here at Ozark. Go to Daily Journal, hit assigning work. So what I want you to do then is go ahead and pick, add an activity. And I want you to pick 9:13. Okay, select today. On the equipment side, what I want you to do is just pick one truck, right? I mean, because it doesn't matter if it's a heavy duty or extra. Just pick one of our snow fleet. Okay, pick a loader because you know you'll have people in loaders. Because we're checking to make sure they got everything squared away, right? In your situation, you might have some other things, right? You might require that they run a skid steer in winter operation. Pick that one thing. Maybe you load everything with a backhoe. Pick that one piece of equipment. Maybe, I don't know, guys, when it comes to motor grader, that's probably a set group of people, right? All we're trying to do is we want to see who is trained, got their stuff taken care of, and everything's ready. So I just picked one truck, one loader. I'm going to come in here, select all employees. All right, now we've got a couple new employees at Ozark. You can see they've already got triangles up. I'll show you how we'll handle that. Go through each individual employee, just put those pieces of equipment on there, right? We're going to have a good awareness. They're all good for a dump truck. They're all good for a loader. Again, if you need a skid steer, whatever is needed for your crew to be successful, just go through and light up all that stuff on those. Not too bad to do that. You can clip through them pretty fast just to make sure what does that look like. Now, we have our HR personnel have been working. I think this week they're finalizing anyone who's a supplemental help. Notice those are going to show up here. Okay, so in Ozark, they've got 2 supplemental help, Mr. Barry, Mr. Redlinger. They have no hourly, so that means there's no emergency help yet or anything. And then go ahead and do the same thing on those non-maintenance, your supplemental help, get those there, and hit done. This is going to give you a list then. It's going to be able to show you who is trained. Now, as you all know, MMS only knows what was in Mo.U as of the end of May. Okay, here it populates that activity. Click on that alert button. You're going to get a pop-up that's going to show up to you of what courses are missing. And sure enough, here they are. So for Ozark right now, we've got Chad Berry. Okay, so there's a Class B requirement license. We need to kind of look into that, double check his license to make sure everything's good. Curlin and Walker are brand new employees. Look, see, we got snow removal for Curlin, and then Walker, we got everything, right? So highly likely, again, these are brand new employees who went through Gear Up. That's everything of their stuff, right? So what I would encourage you all to do on this part, as a supervisor, you probably already know, hey, they were in Gear Up 2 weeks ago. I know it. I got the training piece. Great. Not a problem. You can also go out to Movers Learn, okay? So one of the things that I could show you all how to do this, if you're in MMS and you might not have a Movers Learn link on there yet or something, if you click on Mo.SharePoint over here on the far right hand side, we're going to load you the statewide SharePoint page. Bottom left, right there is Movers, Training and Movers Learn. If you click on that, this is going to take you access to Movers, everything about training. There is a Learn Guides up here. I clicked on those the other day. I talked with Reagan Schmidt in our safety group. There is Manager. That right there is the page. If you want to go and look like have a help sheet, go in there and look at that. That kind of gives you step by step of how to see some transcript information in Movers. What I want to do is I want to show you guys how I can look and see what it looks like for my employees. New employees in Ozark, I'm going to click on Movers. They are not in MMS. We do not know that they have completed anything, okay? And so what happens is, I'm going to do this again here in just a second. Sorry about that, guys. I should have paid more attention to what my email was there. There we go. Let's get the right one. And so I can come in here and I can see, so what does Movers has? So the safety team in central office, they have been putting in stuff that was in June and July and August, and they're working through September. I mean, we're talking thousands and thousands of pieces of rosters, right? Life has kept going. And so when you come here, go to My Team. See, this first one's about me. Click on My Team, then click on Learning, okay? When I click on Learning, you're going to see my 2 direct reports show up. You will see your reports show up. As a supervisor, when this page loads, notice it kind of comes in some pretty cool things that are just some built-in filters. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to uncheck that current, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to uncheck this direct report, because for some of you, when you click reports, you're wanting to hit all. So like Brian Lambert here in Ozark, when he clicked all, he could see everybody in his building, right? He might only do the engage on the crew leaders or something. So if you want to see everyone that's assigned underneath you in your entire building, click that. Here's my 2 people, okay? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on Randall. Let's say if Randall was a brand new employee. What I could do is I've picked Randall's name. I could come over here to completed date, and I could say, I want to know what he's completed in the last 3 months. All right. The cool thing about this is you know real time now what has been entered in Movers. Okay, so this is what they've got. This is changing every day. Again, they're putting hundreds of these things in every single day to get it all caught up. But you can tell pretty much real time what's in movers. MMS has everything up to the end of May. This will give you the rest of the stuff that they're trying to get caught up. You can go out there and see that to see, are your people squared away? What's it look like? Now, caution, please have patience. If you look at this and see, well, wait a second, that gear up person, he took all that stuff in the end of July. They're working through it, okay? Please give them another week or two to get this all squared away. But that's where you can see what's been put into movers. All right, go do that today, please. And I'm going to go back to Ozark because I don't think these guys really want winter operations assigned to everyone today. Once you do that, go delete that out, okay? So with that, I'm going to stop for a second. Tommy, I'm going to have you show on my area a little bit about the continuous, non-continuous, sir.
Yeah, okay. We'll make it pretty quick, pretty straightforward here. So if you go into MMS and you go out to my area, over in our routes layer, it'll come in collapsed, but under our routes layer, we have our winter ops. So you turn on your winter operations layer. I'm gonna just go ahead and zoom in a little bit so it'll draw faster. And we can turn on our continuous routes. Those lines will draw in purple here. One of the things that we get when we visit buildings, a common theme is, man, I wish you guys could make our winter, our documenting work locations, our winter segments match the way we actually plow. Well, we can't. You guys got to go out here and you can tell us where these need to start and stop, and send that to the TMS team or MMS team, and we'll make it happen. So you go out here to your segments, it gives you begin log, end log, even has the ARAM video, tells you the information you need to see. I'll zoom in a little bit closer here on one, and you can see that it has arrows at the begin and end. So there's a little segment right there that has begin and end arrows. So that's really all we need you guys to do is go in there and tell us where they should start or stop, and we can make that adjustment for you. We do that in TMS, but you can see it here. And again, you can use that ARAM video. Purple means continuous, and when you click on that route here in winter operations, it tells you it's a continuous route. We turn on the non-continuous layer, and these will draw in green. And now you see all the greens with their segments listed out there for you by shape. Again, you click on that, it highlights, tells you where that route starts and stops, or that segment starts and stops, and gives you all the details over here. Again, with a video, ARM video that you can actually go draw that route, log points, county, and all that information. So all we need you to do is go there, take screenshots, give us a call, chat us, however you want to reach out to us, and tell us where those segments should start and stop, and we can make that adjustment for you to match the way you actually push snow out there.
Fantastic. So supervisors, a maintenance supervisor, assistant maintenance supervisor, superintendent are the only ones who can make mixed winter material. So some of these things we're talking about, right? They're employee things that need to be doing. This is yours, right? Come to consumable inventory. Likely nothing has changed since last winter. Click on your manage winter materials. Again, crew leaders do not even see this button. Okay, this is a supervisor, assistant supervisor item. Look at what you've built. In Ozark, they got two mixtures. They got a 1-to-1 and a 2-to-1. That's all they're running. Okay. Some of you got liquid mixtures. Absolutely. Put that geotab, put that salt brine in there. Make sure that this makes sense. Their 1-to-1 mixture has got about 43%, right, of it is treated salt. 53% of it is aggregate. This is all by weight. Highly encourage you. Use this winter mix calculator. Again, we've got a video. We'll put that in the link out here about all of this. You can work through this winter mix video of exactly, I put this many buckets. This is what this stuff weighs. It will help you figure out what those percentages are that you need to enter. Sometimes it gets real squirrely. If you start dealing with bags of dry flake or pellet, hey, give us a call. We'll help out with those things. I can tell you, there's always a couple buildings every year. They're doing everything they can, but they really jack this up. And they'll accidentally make it so that one scoop weighs 2,500 tons. Man, next thing I know, we look like we went to one storm event and somebody used 10,000 tons in one building. Hey, we're all human. We make mistakes. Just be mindful of it. Please look at this, okay? Again, only supervisors have access. Nobody else is messing with this but that. Look through those pieces there. Okay. All right. So we've talked through that. We've talked a lot of winter. Some of you are thinking, man, this is crazy. You guys keep talking the same stuff. That's probably the right thing, right? We just want to be repetitive about what we're doing. But Randall, I want you to show a little bit of our situation awareness. We got a lot of stuff sitting out here now that we can see more globally. I'll let you see some of the stuff that we're doing out here to help us explain where are we as far as a winter storm.
All right, so we'll make this quick. We just got a couple minutes left here, but we have several Power BIs out there. The situational awareness for winter ops is one of them. To get to those, the easiest way is to go to reports from MMS. That brings up this SharePoint landing page. Most of the reports that everybody in here is going to be interested will be in this big hero to the left. So you select that. It's going to bring up a list of reports. Everybody will see different things over here. So if just because you see it here with me doesn't mean you'll necessarily see it. There's some security on some of these. The one that we're talking about specifically right now is this situational awareness. So this is what we use before the storms. Kind of gives us a broad overview of the employees, the trucks that are available for snow plowing. Currently, today, there's about, looks like 2,355. 2002 have met all of our training requirements. Remember that some of that training is missing, so that number may be off just a little bit. Underneath situational awareness, there's multiple different pages. I won't go through all of them. I'll just click on a couple here just to give you a highlight. This is how it breaks down statewide, whether they're supervisors, non-supervisors, motorist assist. We've just got all that broken out and a little bit of detailed information about it. I will warn you, you can go down to the org level. If you do, it gets a little messy because somebody may be assigned a snowplow org, but it has to be changed to make sure they match up to your org. So if those numbers are a little off, there's some reasons why. As the year goes on and we start getting everybody in, that should work its way out. We've changed a little bit of how we're going to do the fleet this year. We're going to give the DMEs the opportunity to say how many they want to operate at day versus how many at night. So once they fill this in, these numbers will change a little bit. The salt, this should be a good direct view of what is in your inventory right now. And then the main one that you'll want to look at, some of these training ones are not quite up to date because of the training situation, but the staffing map is kind of a quick view of what the numbers look like basically in a perfect world, right? These are the total extra heavy duty and heavy duty trucks we have within that county. Those are not counting the ones that are down or whatever. So this is why it's kind of perfect world. And then this would be a list of employees, the count of employees for that county. This has to be adjusted by the DMEs. They can move. So for example, bridge crew, maybe they are in an org that's in one county, but they're going to plow in a different county. They have the ability to change that around. So you can select on a county if you want, and it brings up yours, so you don't have to scroll through that list. But that kind of gives you a quick view of how we're staffed statewide. Michael, anything else you want to talk about on this?
No, I think that's good. We've got that set to start sharing with our maintenance engineers, let them start updating. We had a few tweaks to make this week. Hey, there you go. That's how fast an hour can seem, right? I do appreciate you guys giving us so much of your time. At the end of the day, there's just a couple things we're concerned about. your safety. We want to make sure that you have a plan, that everyone's aware of what's going on. And there's a lot. There's no doubt, right? Terry Blankenship could have talked another 30 minutes, and rightly so. I appreciate everything they're doing. We could have went on for another hour, but end of the day, we take it in pieces. Please make sure that you're aware of, you can reach out to us anytime. Last thing I want to share, Cherie has retired, so it is up to Tommy Randall and I, which means we're probably not going to do a very good job, right? Please reach out by teams. Give us a call, reach out by team, shoot us a note anytime. We'll be monitoring that. We are interviewing this week for a replacement for that position. Excited about where we can go. But please don't get frustrated. Call us. Let us know how we can help. Look through those things. And more importantly, have a great day. Take care. Make it home safely. See ya.